Hey guys, what's going on? Monty here. The last few weeks I've been putting out these horrific visions guides, and many of you have said that they're helpful for you, which is awesome because that's kind of why I'm doing what I'm doing. So this week I decided I wanted to upload a full run with commentary just to kind of show you all my route and then explain some of the thought process and decision making that's going on in the midst of my runs. So let's check it out. All right, guys. So in this run, I'm going to be using my Outlaw Rogue. As you can see here, he's 468 item level. I have some decent corruption on him too. I'm running Echoing Void with a 2% strike through, so a tier 1 strike through. It's okay. It's pretty strong. It's decent. In terms of food buffs, I'm running Ghastly Goulash, which restores 2% health of my maximum health every second. And this is a Horrific Vision specific food, so you can only use it in Horrific Visions. But I run this because I'm kind of squishy on my rogue, and it just helps me if I get in bad situations with my health. And then I'm also running Flask of the Greater Currents, which is kind of like an agility flask. So I'm also max level cloak here. You can see I'm rank 15, and then I have 62 corruption resistance to my cloak, which is very helpful, especially in these 5 mask runs. So yeah. Anyway, we're going to jump in here and I'll show you kind of the masks and tell you what they do and how they affect the run. So okay, so the first mask I put on is Mask of the Burned Bridge, which kind of leaves void zones behind me as I run. The next one is Mask of the Long Night, which is the hardest mask in my opinion. It reduces sanity by 50%. Then Mask of the Daredevil, which increases sanity damage taken by 150% from all sources. And then Faceless Mask of Dark Imagination. And that's while below 50% sanity, there's a chance that a void enemy will spawn. And then the last one is Mask of the Pained, which is where you gain an extra affix in every zone. So as we jump in here, the first thing I'm going to do is stealth and hit my sprint. And I'm going to come check out and see which of these potions is the bad potion. Over there in the left-hand corner, you'll see which one is the sanity reducing potion. And then I come over here to Augustus and kill him to get the 7% versatility buff. If you look over on the left-hand side of my screen, you'll see I have a weak aura that has kind of all the potion colors listed out. That's kind of a nice little resource. I'll include that in the description below for you. But basically is once you find out what the sanity reducing potion is, or the poison, you click on that color and it'll tell you what all the other ones do. It also will show you when your Gift of the Titans procs from your tech tree. So that's really helpful and really important when you're doing these runs. It kind of just allows you to make good decisions at the right time, and just overall is a really beneficial tool. So the first thing I do is I kind of skip all of the mobs in that open cathedral area, and I come over here to the Dwarven District. I constantly am just trying to keep moving during these runs. I just want to go as quick as I can and stay under control and just move quickly, because you're obviously losing sanity every second, so you just kind of want to do things as efficiently as possible. Okay, so I mount up here and turn right and come over here to this first pack, and I also find a chest to get some extra mementos, which is always nice. I mean, the whole reason that I'm doing these runs right now is A, to get a chance at corruption gear, but then 2, also to get mementos so I can get sockets for the gear for my gear that don't have sockets. So I always look for extra mementos. However, I don't go out of my way in 5 mask runs. I typically save memento farming for 4 mask runs. So I proc Gift of the Titans, and I come over here to this pack. I cross the way again and come over here to the left. Now, the reason that I do this is because there is an extra buff you can get here in the shop, and you see the door is open there behind me. So I'm going to go and try and get this buff. Now, this is, there's like a minefield in here that you have to try and navigate. It's very sensitive, and I don't think that Scorched Feet works in here. However, I did get it to like kind of proc up here, I think. We'll have to see what happens. It doesn't work up until this point, which is very confusing. And then all of a sudden I'm like, get teleported back because I tripped a mine. And then I tripped another mine. So we have a bad go here. I try and Cloak of Shadows to avoid running over these these pools that I'm leaving, and then I try one more time here. The reason that I take this extra time to do this particular maze and get this buff is because it's 10% damage increase, which is really, really helpful, especially against Illyria and against some of these other bosses that have some sanity draining mechanics. You know, the faster that you can get them killed, you know, just the better. So I stand on this green mine and I get the buff, and then I run over a mine and it teleports me back to the beginning. And then we continue on with our Dwarven District nonsense. So we pull these guys, and I'm constantly trying to focus on who I'm going to target. I'm watching my buffs. I'm watching my abilities. I'm trying to just plan for what I'm going to do next. So I get a Gift of the Titans proc and decide to pull Forge Guard. What is his name? Hernal? I can't read it. This guy here. He's the first kind of mini boss in the zone, and he restores 200 sanity from your tech tree if you have the Elite Extermination. So it's very helpful to kind of space out the bosses that you decide to pull in each zone. So as you see, I'm about halfway through, and then I kill him, I go almost back up to full again. So my goal when I'm doing 5 mask runs, and you have Mask of the Long Night, which takes your sanity from like 1150 down to like 500, you know, you really want to try and space out these bosses so that you're getting the most value out of your sanity. Because, you know, you're working with a very limited amount. 500 is not very much. So whenever I'm doing these, I'm trying to do all of the things, you know, all of the objectives in the zone first, and then, you know, kill a boss halfway in between that, and then do the rest of the objectives, and then kill the other boss. So I'm leaving the zone with almost full sanity. So you kind of just want to plan this out and space it out as best you can. This pack here, you want to focus these Heart Seekers. They kind of do a lot of damage, and these big, you know, void guys here, they don't really do much. They kind of just have the Will Breakers. They just kind of have a void on the ground that you can move out of, and they're very large, so it's kind of a habit just to target them first. But honestly, I found that in these runs, you really want to target the smaller NPCs first. They kind of do the most damage. So sometimes you can AoE them down, but in these Heartseeker, in this case, you kind of want to focus them first. So the essence that I'm running right now is Breath of the Dying. A lot of times I will run Blood of the Enemy as well, but in these 5 mask runs, the chance of you know, pulling huge packs is kind of limited. You know, I try not to do that in these runs because that's kind of when things go bad for me, or at least that's what I've found. So what I like to do is I run Breath of the Dying, because then it allows me to use that at least twice while I'm facing some of the more difficult bosses like Illyria or Magistrate Umbric, or some of these other guys, you know, that I have issues with. So, you know, we clear all the bombs, and then we come over here and we face the last elite boss in this zone. My sanity is looking pretty good. I'm really in a pretty good state here. So I just kind of pop some cooldowns on him, start attacking him. Scorched Feet is just being annoying. I'm jumping from the Entomophobia, trying to dodge as much as I can here. This is really an easy boss. Like, you shouldn't have any issues if you're doing this correctly. You can click these bombs, which is kind of nice. I get in a little bit of trouble here, and I take a lot of bomb damage. And then I spawn an extra ad from my face mask, and then I take Forge Breath. So this is going very poorly. This was a really good run, and this is getting a little intense right now. So I proc my Elite Extermination, which is good. We kill him. We get out of this. I probably used a health potion there, I think. I definitely popped something. So what I decide to do is eat some kebab here, because of the mess up that I did. You know, that boss should have gone real smoothly, and I just screwed it all up. So I decide to try and restore 100 sanity with some kebab, and I do that before I enter this middle area. I don't know if that's actually a mistake or not. I don't know if this is considered a corrupted zone, or if you take less sanity in this area. I'll have to double check on that, but I definitely like to use kebab before I enter a lost zone, because you obviously are going to take more sanity damage in the lost zones. So I eat it there in the corrupted zone and restore 100 sanity, and that kind of helps me out here with those mistakes that I made. So you can buy that off the auction house. That's a really good resource if you're doing these 5 mask runs as well. So we pull these first couple packs. I have to deal with this ad here because I'm below 50% sanity, and I come on over here and attack Arms Master Terranson. She has this really annoying Blade Flourish ability that is kind of hard to dodge, honestly. I almost always get hit by it at least once. But I'm using all of my cooldowns here to try and just burst her down as quick as I can. Yep, I got hit there. That removes some sanity. But since I did so poorly in the Dwarven district, my goal in the trade district, or no, this is the Old Town, excuse me, is just to go as quickly as I can so that I can kind of make up some time and restore as much sanity as I can. This pack can actually be kind of tricky if you're not careful, especially with split personality and this void zone that spawns underneath you that will fear you. So, you know, you really will just want to make sure you're focusing the right targets. I'm focusing the informants first and then the will breakers. You always want to focus the informants first because they have that touch of the abyss cast that can really, really hurt you if you're not careful. Especially with some of these affixes, man, they just get very obnoxious very quickly. I think split personality and leaden foot are personally the hardest ones that I've had to deal with. But this combination can sometimes screw you up too. So you just have to be very careful. So I'm just continuing to pull these packs, these ad packs, and then also focusing down the right targets. This pack for some reason is taking a little bit longer than normal, but I spawn another ad here. Again, this is why you kind of want to just make sure you're not making huge mistakes like I did in the Dwarven district, because that mask can create some problems, especially on boss fights if you're running lower sanity. So I always try and keep it above 50%, but sometimes you just can't control that. You know, you kind of got to roll with what happens and do your best with the situation that you're in. So here I'm focusing down the ad pack. I get a Gift of the Titans proc. So I decide to run in and pull Alk's Call of the Infested. I get a haunting shadows affix on top of split personality, but luckily I'm able to get out of that. And then he casts Lurking Appendage, which are these like little tentacles that come up out of the ground. What's annoying is he doesn't cast it. He doesn't actually spawn them while it's casting. He will spawn it right after it casts. So you don't want to move until after he spawns it. And sometimes I try and just preemptively get out of it, but that does not work. You have to wait till he casts it to get out of it. He also has some Blight Eruption that he casts on you. It's like a Blight ability, and then he'll erupt it. You can't actually Cloak of the Shadows or use any of your self cooldowns to remove that. So what I do is I wait for him to cast that on me, and then when he goes to cast his Erupting Blight ability, then I will Cloak of the Shadows that, and I won't take any sanity damage. So that's a little trick that I've found that's kind of helped me reduce the amount of sanity damage I'm taking from that boss. I haven't orbed yet, so I decided to orb here because this boss can be kind of tricky. He's just annoying. I don't necessarily think he's hard. He just takes a long time to do. And so it's just nice, you know, if you're dealing with Matthias Shaw, to just like make sure that you're planning ahead, because you can take a lot of sanity damage during this fight. These chaos orbs that, you know, these eyes, they are just very obnoxious. And then when he respawns, he will attack you and do sanity damage to you. So you can honestly dodge that by just moving out of the way. However, a lot of times I'll eat it if I'm in a really good position. You know, it just kind of depends on where I'm at. I think the best move is probably just to kind of get out of the way. I think it's also beneficial if you look at your Gift of the Titans and see, for whatever reason, it didn't proc in the middle of that fight. But if you can save that global cooldown until you face Matthias Shaw, that's really helpful during this fight, because then you can just unload a ton of damage into him if you time it right. So that's probably a goal that a lot of times I'll have in the back of my mind is, you know, is it worth it to wait for this global cooldown in order to attack him? Again, I'm just going as quick as I can here. I decide to mount up here in the trade district, and I'm immediately going to turn left. So the trade district can be kind of a little bit unique in terms of the pulls that you do, I decided to do a big pull here. I've tried this pull in the past, and it's worked out for me. You just want to, really watch out for those appendages. They are the most annoying, ad you can face. I try and stun them. I'll use my Between the Eyes on them to try and stun them, but then immediately I notice I proc Gift of the Titans. So I run in here to deal with this Inquisitor Dark Spear, or Dark Speak, or whatever his name is. He has a lot of sanity damage abilities that you really cannot avoid. So if you proc Gift of the Titans, or you have something that can help make this fight go without taking sanity, then use it. So you see here, I avoided his first ability that deals sanity damage, but then his appendaging torment or whatever got me the second time. So you can kick that as well. I think you can kick at least one of those, and then I try and save either my cloak or save my legendary cloak for one of those as well. So if you can plan around using Gift of the Titans or some kind of personal cooldown, then you'll be in a good spot with that boss. So I decided to come on over here. I got 200 sanity off of that guy, and I decided to pull this pack here. I just am like, let's try and clear as much trash as we can, because we're gonna have to come here to let people out. And then what I do here, do I actually pull this pack? I do. I decided to come over here and pull this pack for some reason. I probably shouldn't have, to be honest. I probably should have gone and done the other trash on the other side. I have lots of sanity here, and then Scorched Feet pulls the boss. So this was kind of a mistake here. What I should have done is gone to the other side of Trade District and started killing some of the other trash packs, and then maybe check, is the guild bank up? No, the guild bank is not up because we got the buff from the Dwarven district. But I should have at least gone and cleared that other trash first, and then come in and done this guy, because then I would have gotten full value out of the 200 sanity restoration, and I would have left this zone in a better shape. But I'm doing okay here. Ever since using that orb on Matthias Shaw, I'm doing fine. I'm not like making any major mistakes and losing all my sanity. So, this will be okay. This will turn out all right. So I really hate this guy. He's just annoying. The Chains of Servitude are just a really obnoxious ability. But, I kind of deal with it. And I'm like, why can I not click this cage? It's because that appendage is still in combat with me. So that was still in combat with me. Still not able to get out of this yet. Got to kill it. Wow, it's still only half health. See, this is what I'm talking about. These things are just annoying. They will keep you in combat. They won't let you get out of combat. If you need to orb or you need to do something, they can be, very troubling. So I would have to say Scorched Feet is probably one of my least favorite affixes. It's not that hard to deal with, or Madness, whatever they're called. It's not that hard to deal with. It's just obnoxious. So there are times where, you just kind of are frustrated by it, because you just want to move and to not be tossed around. One of the things that I forgot to mention is, because green is the poison potion this run, that means that red is the sanity restoring potion, which is really nice, because red potions are really easy to spot. So there was like a time back there, just a minute ago, where I saw a red potion and decided to drink it. And those are huge when you're doing these 5 mask visions. Like if you can restore 100 sanity from drinking something, like that's really helpful. So I really don't mess with any of the other potions, because a lot of them have negative effects on you, when the buff fades away. So like, for example, the potion that allows you, the spicy potion that allows you to breathe fire, when that buff fades, you are feared for like 3 seconds. So I've literally seen runs lost because they picked that up and then they went to go face a boss and they were going to orb, but in the middle of orbing, it feared them into the boss and they weren't able to orb and they died. So like that is a very real circumstance. So I try and avoid those in these runs, if at all possible. If you absolutely need them, say you're like under geared and you need some extra buffs, you can do that. Just be very careful with, how you're positioning yourself, and make sure that you're paying attention to, hey, if these buffs are going to wear off, am I in a spot where I'm going to, lose my run if I get feared here? Another one is the healing potion. If you take a healing potion, when that wears off, you start puking for like a couple seconds. So imagine in the middle of a fight, a boss fight, you start puking and lose control of your character for 3 seconds. Like that can be very dangerous. So, I just try and avoid those and focus on the sanity restoration ones and try and get those only during my runs. So I eat some more kebab here, and then I mount up and turn right. I like to do a big pull here in the beginning, and because it's split personality, I always try and find like big, large open areas to stop, right? Like I don't want to be caught in a corridor with split personality. So I always try and find these big junctions that have larger amounts of space for me to kind of deal with all of these adds. Again, I'm trying to focus on these appendages, just dodging them, focusing them down, attacking them when I can, and not letting them spawn underneath me. These corruption, these, beast corruption things, they're very annoying, but they don't really do anything. They just do physical damage. So, I'll pop a cooldown or something to reduce physical damage while I'm fighting them if they get off their cast. But for the most part, they're not of consequence for this zone. I just like doing this route and this path because it just seems really smooth to me. It's helped out my runs tremendously if I turn right and, come do this portal keeper first, and then I will come do this mini boss next. So I had some cooldowns here, so I decided to just go ahead and pull this guy right away. I felt like I was in a good spot. This guy is honestly not too tricky as long as you don't get negatively affected by your madnesses. Your split personality, your leaden foot. I just kind of walk him in a circle. If you're dealing with leaden foot, you just kind of stutter step on this guy. You move in increments, just like I'm doing right here. You just kind of move in small increments and, make sure you're paying attention to, your positioning and making sure you're not getting hit like that. So, but after I kill him, I realize that I have a Gift of the Titans proc about ready to go off. So I start attacking some of these corruptions, crawling corruptions. It goes off, and then I come and run over here to this pack. This pack is it's very annoying. So you have to kill the Greater Void Elementals. You have to kick the Greater Void Elementals Void Buffet. And then these smaller adds that he's with deal a lot of shadow damage. So they kind of work together. So you have to make sure you're kicking the Greater Void Buffet, but that you're also killing the other 2 targets first. So one of the things that I found is helpful is if you can CC one of them and then focus the other one down just while paying attention to the Greater Void Elemental, then that makes this go a lot easier. On this next pack here, I literally will just target the Greater Void Elemental and, focus him down first, and then I can kill the Portal Master. So, this is a really pretty easy pull. So I try and save a cooldown or 2 for the other pack, and then I'll come do this pack. It just kind of depends on the situation you're in. If you find yourself with a Gift of the Titans proc, and look at this, another sanity restoring potion. This is huge. 100 sanity, that is awesome. That is so much value in these 5 mask runs. I like to run through this house here. This is like the best route that I've found. I'll just run through this house, kill this other portal keeper. Again, another Void Elemental. Just keep kicking Void Buffet because they will do a lot of damage if you let those go off and stack on you. This guy tried to cast Psychic Scream, which is, a fear. You don't want to let that go off. It can fear you into your madness or fear you into something, and you can get into some trouble. So, again, just kicking or stunning or CCing, as best you can on some of these guys is very helpful. You want to be focusing down the smaller guys, but just paying attention to what all of these adds do. So after I kill that, I get a Gift of the Titans proc. I want to run into the boss right here because I want to use this Gift of the Titans proc, but I decide to stop because I see that split personality is about to spawn. The purple edges on my screen started closing in, so I knew it was going to be happening soon. So I stop and try and avoid getting disoriented by that. This guy's pretty easy, honestly. I don't really have any issues with this guy at all. He'll spawn some minions that you kind of want to kill and just kite a little bit because they'll leave these void zones when they die. And then he has this ring of fire that you just do not want to stand in. It causes a lot of sanity damage. So you just kind of avoid that. It's really honestly not that bad of a fight for rogues, at least. So I restore sanity here. I still have 2 orbs. I'm in a great spot, you know, and we head on over to Magister Umbric. Magister Umbric? I don't know. Whatever his name. Magister, I guess, is his proper title. So we have to go up. Is that another? No, that's blue. We have to go up the ramp here. It's kind of annoying. Oh, and I spot another sanity restoring potion again. So this is my 3rd one this run. So that's huge. That's 300 extra sanity in this run, you know, with 2 orbs left. So I'm in a good spot. I always try and save an orb for Illyria. And I try and make sure I have 2 orbs heading into the Mage Quarter. Because the Mage Quarter, there's a lot of potential in this specific area to just completely demolish a run. There's so many sanity loss mechanics, there's so much dangerous trash, there's so many things that can just screw you over. So you just kind of want to plan your route and make sure you have a good route for this zone, and then B, make sure you have as much sanity as possible when you come into this route. So if I remember correctly, I don't think this boss fight goes as well as I remember. What I try and do is lately I have been letting polymorph go off on me, and then I will kick his missiles. The reason that I do that is because, you know, you have these void zones or whatever, which their missiles go off, right? I take 45 sanity damage from his missiles, entropic missiles. But if I let polymorph go off, then I'm likely taking 6, 12, you know, maybe 18 sanity damage versus 45 sanity damage. So if you don't have, you know, something to eliminate the damage that is being taken, like Cloak of Shadows or your legendary cloak, then I will often just eat the polymorph and kick the entropic missiles. I used to think that you're supposed to kick the polymorph and eat the missiles, and then I thought about it. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. You should eat the polymorph and then kick the missiles. That is the best thing for you, especially if you're trying to reduce the amount of sanity damage that you take. So I have 2 orbs and I have 2 orbs and almost 3/4 of a bar of sanity. I have a ton of time here. So I just kind of like come on over here. I click on a chest, get some more mementos. You know, I could have taken my time. I probably could have searched this zone for maybe some crystals or maybe, you know, some more potions or maybe something to help me with this Illyria fight. But, you know, I'm just in such a good spot that I just decide, whatever, like, let's just get this run done. So I kill these guards and I'm going to head into the Illyria fight with a lot of space, you know, to breathe. And this run has been going pretty well so far. Oh, I see some more mementos over here. So we're going to come do this. You see that highlighted piece of paper and that potion right next to it? That is the bad potion. If you missed that earlier on when I pointed that out in the run, it's over here on the right-hand side. That's the bad potion right there by that box. So hover over that potion and find out what color it is. It'll say green, you know, purple, red, whatever. And then if you get this weak aura pack that I link in the description, then you can click on the color and it'll tell you which one is the poison, which one is the sanity restoration potion, and then which one is all the other ones. So it's a really helpful resource. It honestly has helped my runs a lot. You know, you gotta wait for this RP dialogue crap to kind of end here, and then I orb and pull Illyria into the orb. So this will give me a lot of time to kind of just DPS her down in the beginning. I also pop drums here just to try and get as much DPS out on her as possible. You know, if you have never done a 5-mask, you know, vision, I would highly recommend picking up some drums and picking up some things to help increase your DPS, especially if you're low on gear. It goes a long way, especially in some of these fights. So you'll see there she gains all the abilities from all of the bosses that we've killed so far. So she had those bombs there. So you can click those to get those out of the way. She has this chaos eye, which is very annoying. She has the polymorph ability. She has chains of servitude. So she gains all of these abilities from the other bosses, and it's just really annoying. By far the most annoying is the chaos eye. Not being able to look at her is just super annoying. And And then she has on top of that other abilities like this Darkened Sky and this Void Eruption. You have to line of sight Void Eruption or it does something like 200 sanity damage, which is insane. You do not want to get hit by that. So what I like to do is I try and pull her into the center of the room. And then when I have to line of sight, I will run behind these pillars. And then the Eye of Chaos, here's her Void Eruption. So I need to line of sight that, otherwise I take a ton of damage. And then the eyes are just, again, just being annoying. But all this stuff will fade. So after you LOS, you can kind of just stand there. And if she's not casting one of her abilities, she will come and attack you. So if you're melee, which I think this particular fight is very frustrating for melee because of the fact that she's ranged. So if you don't LOS her, then she will not move to you. Like, she will just attack you. So my goal during this fight is to kind of like reduce the amount of movement I have to do in order to get her to come to me and to make sure I'm facing the right way. And that has helped my Illyria fights go a lot better. And there we have it. We successfully did the 5-mask vision. And we'll see, we get 4 chests here, some extra mementos. And we get a really nice, I think this is a 470. Yeah, 470 corrupted piece, which is an okay piece, I think. A crit versatility legs with a masterful, I think it's masterful corruption on it. So, but yeah, that's the 5-mask run, guys. I hope that this is helpful for you and that it has, offers some tips to improve your runs. And if you guys like this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button as it helps out my channels. And there'll be some more World of Warcraft content coming in the future. Thanks for watching, guys.